Let's rewind to the real OGs of Canada, the First Peoples. Long before Europeans arrived, Indigenous nations thrived here for thousands of years, adapting to everything from icy tundra to lush forests. From the Haida on the west coast, to the Cree and Ojibwe in the forests, to the Mi'kmaq in the east and the Inuit in the north, each nation had its own language, culture, and way of life. They mastered the land, building communities, crafting canoes, and even making homes out of snow. Their connection to the land was deep. It was their grocery store, pharmacy, and church all in one. They respected nature, taking only what they needed and giving back to ensure the land would provide for generations. This respect and knowledge built the foundation for everything that followed. When we talk about Canada, it starts here, with the First Peoples, the original stewards of the land. Their resilience and cultures are woven into the fabric of the nation. Forgetting that is like leaving out the foundation of a building. The whole story falls apart. So, give it up for the First Peoples, the true trailblazers of the Great White North. That's where Canada's story really begins. The party was rolling until, around the year 1000, Vikings led by Leif Erikson landed in Newfoundland. Their stay was short. Canada's winters weren't for them. Fast forward to 1497, John Cabot, sailing for England, spots the east coast and a sea full of cod. But the real game-changer? Jacques Cartier, a French explorer, sails up the St. Lawrence in 1534 and claims the land for France. He hears Kanata, village, and ends up naming the whole country Canada. These explorers weren't just sightseeing, they were hunting for a shortcut to Asia, but found fur instead. Beaver pelts became the hottest fashion in Europe, sparking a booming fur trade. The French set up trading posts and built relationships with indigenous peoples, exchanging goods and knowledge. But with the fur trade came new problems: disease, land conflicts, and a shift in power. The arrival of Europeans marked a turning point. New alliances, new rivalries, and a continent about to change forever. Indigenous peoples gained tools and weapons, but also faced devastating losses. The bloc was getting crowded, and the newcomers had their own ideas. The vibe of the land was shifting, for better and for worse. This was the start of a new, complicated chapter in Canada's story. The fur trade would shape the next centuries, and the competition for control was just getting started. The stage was set for a clash of empires. The whole continent was about to feel the impact, and nothing would ever be the same. Now France and Britain are both in the game, and Canada is the prize. The French build New France along the St. Lawrence, trading furs and sending missionaries. The British set up the Hudson's Bay Company and coastal settlements, hungry for fur and control. For 150 years it's a fierce rivalry, wars, alliances with indigenous nations, and constant tension. The showdown peaks with the 7 Years' War, known in America as the French and Indian War. The decisive battle? The Plains of Abraham, 1759. British General Wolfe defeats French General Montcalm, both leaders fall. France surrenders Canada to Britain in 1763 with the Treaty of Paris. But the British don't force out the French Canadians. The Quebec Act of 1774 lets them keep their language, religion, and civil laws. This move sets the stage for a bilingual, bicultural Canada. Two founding European cultures side by side, sometimes clashing, always shaping the nation. The rivalry is over, but the legacy remains. Canada's identity is forever changed, the seeds of modern Canada are planted, and the story of two solitudes begins. That's how Canada became a land of compromise, and why it's officially bilingual today. After the American Revolution, Loyalists flood north, changing Canada's makeup. The colonies remain separate, but the War of 1812 unites them against another American invasion. Calls for more self-government grow, and by 1867, leaders from Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick unite. The British North America Act creates the Dominion of Canada, born July 1, 1867. Canada isn't fully independent yet, but it's got its own government. The country expands west, buying land, building the Canadian Pacific Railway, and adding new provinces. From Manitoba to British Columbia, Canada grows coast to coast. The railway ties the nation together, fueling growth and unity. Canada is finding its own identity step by step. The foundation for a modern, independent nation is set, and the journey to full independence is underway. Canada's cities are where the action is. Toronto is the economic powerhouse, diverse, bustling, and always on the move. Montreal brings European flair and French-Canadian culture, mixing old-world charm with modern creativity. Vancouver is all about natural beauty and outdoor living, nestled between mountains and ocean. Ottawa, the capital, is dignified and political, while Calgary channels cowboy spirit and oil wealth. From Halifax to Edmonton, each city has its own vibe and story. These urban centers are the engines of Canada's growth. They're where cultures mix, ideas spark, and the country's future is shaped. Canada's cities are as diverse as the land itself. To get Canada's soul, look at what they love. Hockey tops the list. It's more than a sport. It's a national obsession, from backyard rinks to NHL arenas. Legends like Wayne Gretzky and Sidney Crosby are household names. But Canadians are also quietly hilarious, producing comedy icons like Jim Carrey and Catherine O'Hara. Maybe it's the long winters. Humor is a survival tool. Food? Poutine reigns supreme: fries, cheese curds, and gravy. Add butter tarts, Nanaimo bars, and ketchup chips for a true Canadian snack attack. Canadians are also inventors. Think the telephone, snowmobile, and even basketball. They innovate quietly, changing the world in unexpected ways. From sports to comedy to comfort food, Canadian culture is unique and proud. It's a blend of tradition, creativity, and a dash of self-deprecating humor. That's the Canadian way, and it's what makes the country stand out. So what's Canada today? Still huge, still beautiful, and still famously nice. Politeness isn't just a stereotype, it's a way of life. Multiculturalism is official policy. People from everywhere add their flavor to the mix. It's a mosaic, not a melting pot. Diversity is celebrated, not erased. Nature is a big deal. From the Rockies to endless lakes, wilderness is part of the national identity. Canadians cherish their parks and wild spaces. The country values healthcare, safety, and a good work-life balance. It's a nation that's quietly confident, always striving to do better, especially in its relationship with Indigenous peoples. Canada isn't the loudest at the party, but it's the one you can count on. From the Ice Age to the digital age, it's a story of resilience and diversity. That's Canada. Complex, peaceful, and always evolving. And for that, they've earned a round of applause.